the Florida Mets going up against the Atlanta Braves, and that viral, I want to say, advertisement that went out today. You could see it on Fish Stripes, went viral there. The Marlins calling all Mets fans coming to attendance for the final series at Lone Depot Park between the Miami Marlins and the Atlanta Braves. What do you see from this advertisement and just overall?
First of all, last year, Tommy Hudden came live post game and he did this. The team has struggled to bring fans to the stadium. It's evident. But if you're going to divide a fan base like that even more, I mean, this time we're just waking up to something new every day with this team. And now they're just flat out telling us, hey, division rival, come bring your team and fans over to our stadium to support another division rival. When is this going to stop, man? I mean, how many years have we been waiting for a season at least above 500? I mean, there's just no sense of direction moving forward. And it's just kind of disappointing to see the team at this low, honestly, kind of promoting their division rival. So not a good look. I think it's embarrassing and pathetic.
Those are the main words we've been seeing on Twitter: pathetic, embarrassing, and desperate in some order.
Oh,
but pathetic being most often one. What's confusing because to like look through all the mentions, because it's a lot of them from not Marlins fans, from Braves fans and from Mets fans, like having different takes on the subject. I think a lot of the Mets fans are saying, hey, as long as you guys lose these next two to us during this upcoming series in New York, and they're fine with it. And the Braves fans are somehow like getting very offended by it, even though it's very unusual to see at the major league level. Like, this is a common promotional tactic, you could say, at lower levels of professional sports, where it's obvious that the team itself isn't the biggest draw, where everybody is on the same page of like recognizing that the local team itself is not necessarily in a position to command your money and your attention. At the major league level in baseball, it's supposed to be kind of understood that there's a certain level of prestige you're supposed to hold yourself to traditionally when doing this. Like, you don't want to make it feel like you'd like to be in the situation where you just address your own fans and you incentivize your own fans to come out to the games themselves. The Marlins have been doing this in some version for every series this year. They send out some sort of email message promoting the series. And as I don't think I should have specified this publicly as well, that this didn't go out to everybody. This seemed to go out to some subset of the email list. They didn't send this to me directly. We need to give a tip of the hat to Alex Krutchik. He was the one first that like tipped me off to this and forwarded the email that he got. So I'm not entirely sure how they determined which people to send this to, but I guess guys that they thought, men and women, they thought would be somewhat likely to actually get tickets for the series. It's the final series of the year. They've already surpassed their paid attendance from the previous several years, going back to 2017, but yet they're still like second to last in baseball and last in the National League. So it's interesting, and I can understand why Marlins fans are upset about it, for sure.
Yeah, you're just like watering down the product even further than what you've already kind of stooped to at some point, right? Like, I've never seen this kind of promotion, or never even like would have imagined that this was like what even crossed the mind out of any like executive or front office or marketing team, right? I'm just very confused as to how this would like at all, like, how would they even think this was a good idea? Like, I don't know. To me, like, like from a business perspective as well, like it's another slap in the face to Marlins fans, as if they haven't been slapped enough, So it's disappointing to see.
Yeah. And I kind of want to point out this comment. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, Dodgers fans root for the Giants to beat the Padres, and I'm guessing Dodgers fans would never do that in their entire lives, rooting for the Giants.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just that also put yourself in the minds of the Marlins players. That they, as if like treating them as if they themselves are not, like interesting enough or compelling enough to draw their own fans. Even if perhaps these people, Mets fans, you would think in attendance would by and large be rooting for the Marlins. I mean, I don't think that the players themselves would appreciate that, of course. Then in terms of it would be highly preferential to have fans that are directly rooting for them. So I think almost as much as the fans, I wonder what the players' perspective on this would be. They obviously were not involved in this decision-making process.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and just them knowing that, most fans are there not for them, but to see the Braves lose. Well, they're probably going to be cheered for if the Braves lose, but it's just a weird feeling knowing that these are Mets fans and not actual Marlins fans, like the ones we see at the games with very little people. But yeah, it's just a weird promotion is what I would call it, because if it does get fans, hey, it worked, but just weird to be promoting the team, your division rival to beat the Braves.
like I don't think you need that to promote the series. It's the final series of the year. Fans will come to at least watch the final games. You're going up against the Braves, a big team, superstar players. You don't need to have, these type of advertisements calling all Mets fans. I just don't see the point of that. That would never happen. You won't see Yankees fans telling Orioles fans, cheer for the Red Sox. Yankees fans telling, you won't see anything like that. It just kind of just shows, the low level that the Marlins are in terms of
just to circle back, something we just mentioned about Sandy starting. If Sandy was going to start during the series and he's lined up to pitch October 5th, you think they would be kind of out in front, just saying, "This is your last chance to see the Cy Young Award winner. We're doing Sandy's Beach," all of that. They would not have jumped out in front of this promotion if they felt that was a sure thing. So this, to me, is a pretty strong indication, among other things, that Sandy has probably done after his start against the Brewers.
Yeah. That's a tough one. Let me ask Grant. We haven't heard from Grant. He's running around the university trying to find a good place to talk. Grant, if you're able to speak, just let me know what you think about Mets fans being Marlins fans for, I'm guessing, a couple days.
I'll keep it brief. I get that it's a big New York City market, but I don't think this is the right move because it's a division rival. If the Mets were like an AL team, sure, but this is your division rival. I don't agree with it at all from a business perspective even. I think the Marlins are already a laughing stock. It's just adding on to the fire.
Yeah. Eli, do we know who may be the most famous person or maybe company that's taken the tweet and ran with it?
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Well, pretty soon after I sent it out, I got contact from this guy that runs social for SNY, which is the Mets regional network. And so I gave him the full context about exactly what the email was at. And he was generous enough to give a tip of the hat to Fish Stripes when he sent it out from SNY directly. That was a big help. And I saw that I don't use Reddit very much, but I saw that this was trending on Reddit's baseball channel itself. And that was our original messaging for it. So it seems that on a lot of fronts, people picked up on it. This is not our design. This is not like a big secret. They did send this out, we imagine, to a good number of people. But again, I appreciate Alex Krutchik and the rest of us in our group chat for getting organized and understanding exactly what was going on here so that we could try to explain it to people. And I'm sure there's going to be more reaction to this as it plays out and as word gets around. And at the end of the day, Navi mentioned it in the chat that we'll see how many extra fans it actually brings into the ballpark. That is the objective here. And just based on how much attention it's getting now, I mean, the early indications is maybe there's a few hundred people total, a few hundred over the course of those few days that wouldn't ordinarily go, that maybe do go, just because if they didn't receive it itself, then the attention it's getting now secondhand, that's something. In my opinion, I don't think it was worth it in terms of actually compromising the brand itself in order just to get that extra money. We'll see how it plays out. And Fish Stripes, as always, we're going to be covering this series in person. I think, Daniel, you're going on the final day, Wednesday, October 5th.
Can't wait for that.
You'll be there. Adam's probably going to be there on Monday for this series as well. So we'll firsthand
We'll give a tally of Mets fans that we see that day, and then we'll add it up and see how many Mets fans actually.
They'll be wearing Marlins jerseys.
That'll be a big storyline for the series, if nothing else, is how this converts.
See, if they wanted to be smart about it, if you brought like a Mets piece of merchandise, they should give away like a cheap free T-shirt with like a Marlins logo on it. That would be a smart way to go about it.
I kind of like that. Yeah,
they wouldn't keep it though.
Maybe you wear a Mets jersey, you get like a Marlins hat. something like that, so that you can be identified somewhat.
Look
I
at
think
These
the
are
best
Mets-
way we can kind of gauge this is if Pete Alonso goes yard, we can see just how loud we can get like a decibel reading of how loud the cheering is, and then compare that to if like a Cooper hits a home run and see, okay, compare the two together.
Maybe we'll get a Henderson Alvarez type no hitter on that last game to just
This
do
is this
everything.
is this is a sampling from a couple weeks ago, the last time the Mets played at Lone Depot Park. I think that was the father or some relative of Mark Vientos when he was making his major league debut in Miami. Just in general, it certainly seems like during the previous series that Mets fans were extremely well represented during those games at Lone Depot.
yes.
So they don't. But like I said, the whole context of this is bizarre. The fact that the Mets, of course, are not involved in the series a week from now directly. That there's making a play to those people, presumably a lot of the people that were at the previous games to come on back, because this division race is a big deal. Like this is a storyline that we probably haven't touched much on our streams, but across baseball, this is the last super intriguing race. Is the race for the NL East crown between the Mets and the Braves, both these teams having outstanding years, and only one of them is going to win the division and get a first round bye in the playoffs. And then the other one is in jeopardy of winning 100 games and then almost immediately getting knocked out potentially if they get upset in a short series.
I think this will also bring incentivize what? Oh, excuse me. Bring in Braves fans to come see this game. Also, I think this will also bring in Braves fans to come in, try to compete with Mets fans that are going to be there, and I think you might see a lot of Braves fans for that series against the Marlins.